button and say, yo, what up? How's it going, man?
It's going. How are you?
I'm well. I'm very, very well. So, Nezu under order.
Yeah, I've been bouncing around with the symbols because I'm having a hard time deciding order or chaos.
Okay.
But I found this funny line in order.
Okay, hit me with a line.
So, looking at my attacks, everything except for the 2 focused attacks and the 2 indiscriminates are 4 checks. Meaning I can discard any of them to pick any of them up.
Mm-hmm.
Also, across all my 4 check attacks, I have a 1 high, a 1 mid, and a 1 low. So I can block any zone. And then my 2 actions, well, 6 actions, are all 4 checks as well. So they can just turn into attacks if I, pull more than one.
Yeah.
And then all except for, I think, Indiscriminate and Eat My Sticky Balls are all mid. So I can either commit you out and throw the low that you're not expecting, or just jam focused in and punch you for a lot.
Makes sense to me. Yeah, it makes sense to me. So, I love that gameplay loop. I do. I think that gameplay loop is very cool. What's our damage here? It's 5s. Okay. Have you played with this deck yet?
What?
Okay. How often were you getting Flex Your Might off?
To be honest, it's not about me drawing.
Fair.
It's all about knowledge, and because my character says, if you draw, I draw.
Okay. Sure. I dig that.
So, against the person I played against, the first time, he chose not to show an attack, so I just drew 2 because I revealed
Right.
Indiscriminate. But after, later in the game when I did it, he realized most of my attacks are subpar. So he just revealed a 5. I revealed, I think, Eat My Sticky Balls. He drew 2 and I drew 1.
He doesn't get to draw if he wins.
Oh, then we played that wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just both players reveal 1 from their hand. If you revealed an attack with a higher printed damage than your rival, draw 2 cards.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
But anyway, I could probably drop that down to 2 then. But yeah, it's still 4 diff. I can pick up any of my attacks except for
Right.
the 2 big ones.
Yeah. So, what is the goal of the deck doctor then? What do you need my help with?
Just fixing the things in stats. I have 13 highs, and I'm trying to see if there's a way to shore up more of the zones.
Yeah.
And just an overall look at foundations, because while this seemed fine, I don't know how this would work in more competitive format when it comes out.
Sure. I agree with that. I'm still looking. I'm doing the big look.
Well, there are a lot of cards to look through now.
There are a lot of cards to look through now. That is true. Ooh, this card's very cool. We're looking. This card is neat. This card's neat. And then here. Okay. We might have to jump back into it, but here's like everything that I can look at. So, when we said flex your might, the coolest thing that we have is here is a 7 damage, 5 difficulty mid. And so like tape lash plus flex your might means you actually do get to draw the 2 cards most of the time, and so that's pretty cool. And it still stays mid with your focus attack, and you can also discard it to go find your focus attack or your indiscriminate, right? And it probably just takes the place of your lacerations. And then I thought, instead of that, why not we just make it a 4 diff, and there we have tape stream jab, and there's another mid for you, or even better, here's future charge. We just hit the lacerations and turn them into future charges. I mean, you just draw the card for the future charge. It's a high block, as opposed to the low block, which laceration is. And then and then we continue. The only good thing about laceration is the fact that it's a weapon for blood moon rending.
That makes sense.
Right, but like at the same time, remove 2 weapon cards. We might actually be able to fix the weapon card situation with the rendings, take slashings, and maybe increase it a little bit, and then put in more weapon foundations over here. Depending, I don't know how many quite there are, but like we might be able to do that. Let's look. Oh, throw a button.
I think there's only one in order.
Yeah. Order, weapon, foundation, action, go. We have intimidating presence. So removing intimidating presence to blood moon rending might not be terrible. Depending on how much we want this gimmick to work. Yeah. So with everything that I've said now, so I have a little bit better direction. Where are you feeling? Help guide me. Where are we guided now?
Based off what you said, I see using like a different mid in place of like laceration. It was mostly in there because if I remove 1 weapon card from my discard pile, I burn 1 or get them to burn 1.
Right.
And it was a low block, but like I said, I need more high blocks. So the tapes or future charge seems really nice.
Right.
Because I can draw off that.
I think future charge is rad because it also like increases your hand size, and then from there you can just go swap it out for something else, right?
I think Nezu could actually put it online more often.
Right. Yeah, let's just make that switch, right? I'm gonna put you the laceration on the sideboard so it's still on the table. Oh, I just put it to 3. We'll put you there, and then we're gonna take future charge and put you to 3 there. That hasn't changed our attack count at all. What is this number gonna be at?
To be honest, I'm fine with like 65. We can add cards if we need to. Otherwise, I'm trying to have around 60.
60 is perfect.
Just,
yeah, I think
just
I think
to see a little
60.
more consistency.
Yeah. Because of lack of flex your might targets, I think we're gonna have to put it down to a 3 of, unless you're down to put in more tape lashes. In which case, tape lash probably should just replace focus attack. Because of the inconsistency of indiscriminate shock, maybe, or maybe it replaces indiscriminate shock. What's the block zone on this thing? It's a 3 high. What are you? 1 low, 2 low. What are my ranged attacks? It's just that. I don't know. Maybe tape lash just stays out. Maybe it's just not good enough.
I mean, another thing it really buffs is I think Heat My Sticky Balls or Jolt because it's a stun attack.
Yeah. Or lash itself. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think flex going down to a 3 of is probably fine. Let's look at the foundations that I picked now. Influencing the youth. Can't escape me is insane. Creepy realization, desperate times, sticky balls, calling for backup. All of these like old school staple cards. How you feel about Like the Wind?
originally I was looking at it with the fact that it's kind of easy to get to 6. Especially with like ice gliding and in the wind, because adding 2 to most of these puts it at either, well, I guess 5.
5. This one triggers. This one triggers. Miss. Miss. This one triggers. Miss. Laceration also missed. After your EX or slam deals damage. Punch.
I think I only have like 1 EX.
EX. Yeah, I think like the wind has got to come out. I think this card actually just doesn't do anything in your deck.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Proud Scion, I love. I think having canary cards are totally great. How do you feel about challenging the fakes?
So this went over really well because being able to, with my 26 health, reduce the damage and then bait them into, pumping a lot of damage into something and then going to picking up the like 1 block with Nezu was just a fun thing that could happen. And on the off chance that they don't, I take like a minor hit and then they basically have to discard a card or pay out.
Okay.
It was originally at like a 3, but I knocked it down to 2 to try and make room for, I think, another passing, because I was running 1 passing before.
Right. Okay. How do you feel about dissolving? Actually, let's just look at our black swans, right? What do we got? What do we not have? All right, so we've increased all the way up to 16 now, so this should, like, right off the bat, should just feel better. How do you feel about, like, dissolving? We've only got 2 here. I'm gonna go look at high blocks.
I'll say it didn't really pan out in the like 1 match I played, but I enjoy the card as a card. Because if I mess up on a defense turn or 2 because of factor X, it's a way to tell them try again. And unfortunately, the play group I have is a lot of, if they smell blood, they will accidentally jump for it.
Right.
And then I just take a step back and then kick them.
So the other options for high blocks that we have are things like Noble Patron, Noble Participation, but that's a 4 high block. We got Travel by Tape, but that's a 4 check. Award the Victor, Charged Up would not be bad. We could just max out on Bonds of Friendship. Desperate Times is like an insane card, and it like punishes them for drawing even more. It just probably says they just don't draw against you, which is more of probably what happens. And then Fulfill My Duty, Natural Leader, Class 1A President is not a card in your deck. Like we have high block options. Normally it's like filled with Desperate Times. It's like that's the draw punishment, but like your character's the draw punishment. So like the only thing that I could see maybe is like maybe playing you could play something like Good Impressions. Good Impressions says that your future charges and your focus attacks are like a little easier to play. But that's a real niche. That's like a one of for sure. Or Charged Up. I hit you with my charger stun attack. Probably not then. Like my jolts give me jolts. My charges give me jolts. Indiscriminates give me jolts. Finally, the Failures might not be terrible though. As an additional card.
Oh, that does have a high block on it, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then we get to take out some of these lows maybe, because we've got both Self-Sacrifice and Idle Work, and I think one of these cards has to leave. They're both doing the same job here of destroy 1 foundation : and being a 1/5 with a low block.
That's fair. I know I had put idle work in there because it was helping me cycle my hand for when I needed to go grab something else.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if that is just the better card, then like let's cut self-sacrifice, right? And if anything, right, like we're testing the deck out. If you feel like idle work just isn't doing enough, you've got the sickest 1-for-1 switch you could possibly do. It's very easy to 1-for-1 switch.
That is completely fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the sideboard so that you remember that it exists, and then we'll put this over here, and then let's just slam 2 final exam failures in, right? And just see what happens. At 59, we're back. We are officially at even now. So let's look at our block zones, highs, lows. You have a lot more lows in your foundations, but more on your attacks. That's okay. We said this number wants to be 60. I think passing the torch and /or calling for backup is really tight in this deck. Like if you just like slammed triple calling, I think that you would enjoy yourself just because even in panic mode, right? Flip, draw a card, discard a card, use your once per turn, discard that new card to go find the thing that you need, right? If it wasn't good enough, you could just panic one more time and keep the resource ready.
That does sound fun.
The only other things that I'm seeing that we're missing is Can't Escape Me. I think even though you want your opponent to draw cards, you don't want them to draw more than one card at a time. Like if your opponent plays their Flex Your Might, I think Can't Escape Me beats them. If your opponent plays their Frigid Heat Wave, you don't want them to draw 2 and you draw 1. You want them to draw 1 and you draw 1. And so like having something like a Can't Escape Me like is very good. Or like add a number of cards to their hand if they, because this only says draw, right? Rebel draws 1. Okay, so if they play something like this card beats like Struggling with Studies, right? Because that card adds a card to their hand, and so Can't Escape Me just beats Struggling with Studies. There's so many cards this card beats. That I think that you're gonna want this eventually, but it's a disruption card, and so you gotta figure out what flow cards are you willing to get rid of. Are you willing to drop the defrostings per se? You know.
Might be something I'll have to test out. Defrosting versus the Can't Escape Me.
Yeah.
Because I know the people I test against don't usually draw too much, so I have to force them to draw.
Fair. Well, let's draw or add, right? Like yeah. I think there's a lot that Can't Escape Me touches, but maybe there's too much of that's on characters as opposed to anything else. Yeah.
I have one that plays Kirishima too, and I can't do anything with that. Well, at least Can't Escape Me can't. Destroy 1, put a card down, draw a card.
Right, that card I think is going to be really good versus Kirishima too because of things like it stops Back Alley Haymaker and it stops jab, right? They don't get to just like pick a card back up for free and then build a fresh one. It says when they are trying to homage to my hero to draw a card on your turn to not die because they overextended, you just like cancel it and they're like, sorry man. Oh, sorry.
That is a fair point.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that Can't Escape Me touches, but once again, just test out the deck and see what exists, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, if you feel like your Blood Moon Rending is not getting quite enough targets because you've only got the 7 in the deck, I think just finding a spot for Intimidating Presence is probably where it's at. Maybe like we have a lot of mids, but I honestly don't know what to cut. Block zone, where's our mids? It could be like one of the callings. Honestly, probably challenging the fakes is probably where it has to be if you want to just try and kill people more, because that's what this card does, right? In your deck in particular, it just helps kill people.
Yeah.
And it also is a 2 mid block that makes all your opponent's cards have -1 speed. So like it's not even terrible to go pick up.
So it is a better pickup than Challenging the Face, which is a 4 mid. I don't usually block with it.
Yeah.
At most, I discard it to go pick up a different 2 diff.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at now. I think that might be where it is.
Okay,
Final thoughts?
I'll have to give it some testing, that's for sure.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Make sure you drop how your games go in the Nezu channel. It'd be fun to keep track. I think his character is insanely hard, and I'll never play him competitively because he's too big brain for me.
So I competitively play a racer, so I am enjoying looking at this character. And when I showed it to a few of the locals, they're like, "You're gonna play this character, aren't you?" I was like, "Probably."
Probably.
If I pull him out of the pack, I will probably just immediately build him and be like, "Okay, who wants to have some fun
Hell yeah.
with my illegal deck?"
With my illegal deck. All right, buddy. I'm gonna get you on out of here. Stay on the line long enough for me to shoot to the deck list, okay?
Yep.
All right. Peace.
Peace.